My friends, welcome back. Welcome back to the Office Flip Flops podcast. I have a very intriguing guest here today, Mr. Joe Dalton. Please tell the audience. He made a funny face when I said Mr., but would you please introduce yourself to the audience and tell everybody where you're from? But they might be able to figure it out from your accent as well.
Well, I'll talk really slowly just in case people don't understand my accent. But yes, I'm from Ireland and I have spent many years as well in America and worked with many people in the USA as well. So, one of the things I learned from speaking to people across the water is that I had to slow down and pronounce my words so people could understand. But yes, I'm a business consultant, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been in business since my 20s. Love business and love everything about business. I'm in my 50s now. I know I look great for 50 because I'm very modest as well and full of confidence in what I say. Also, I'm the chairman of Dublin South FM Radio, which I have had the pleasure to interview and ask amazing questions to some amazing people since 2017. And in doing that has helped me to shape and understand life and has made things very curious for me. So today,
Mm.
I am so honored to be on your show.
Thank you, Joe. Well, I'm honored to have you, and I'm glad that we could align our schedules. We were ready to record this an hour before, but we held off. But Joe, when we were in the green room a few moments ago, we talked about transformation, and we decided to talk a little bit more about self-talk and how damaging it can be from our success and helping us move forward. So I'm sure after being in business for decades now, you have some incredible stories and things that you can share with the audience. But what would what's one of the top things that we can keep in mind to try and manage our self-talk? Obviously, we're talking about negative self-talk, right? That brings us down and slows us down. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Well, over the years in business, I realized that, we need to be talented in such a way through marketing and sales to develop our business. And we need to have systems, processes, and strategies. But the one thing that I found, even with myself, and I had to crack this open, and I look at other people as well, none of that really matters unless you sort out the beast inside. And that beast
Mm.
inside is that negative thought. That is the thing that tells you that you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you will be laughed at, you will be judged. And you have to sort of look at life. And it's not, this doesn't happen over a day. This is a process because it's been indoctrinated into you from the day that you're born. And when you have this realization, you need to then remove it, and it'll take one spoonful at a time, so you actually then have that paradigm shift, cross that Rubicon, and then understand that you are the greatest gift to you, and whatever you want to achieve within your realms is possible.
I love that. So, excuse me, as I listen to that, Joe, I think of two major facets of that work. One is that you mentioned it's the awareness, and the second facet is changing or shifting the mindset.
Correct.
So perhaps we're not as aware of our thoughts and being that they're damaging. What's the first step towards awareness in your mind?
I think the first step, believe it or not, about awareness is being aware. You know,
Okay. Yeah,
and
right.
yeah,
Noticing.
noticing. And when people say, "Oh, I'm having a bad day" or things aren't working out, you kind of have to congratulate them for that, because that is the process of being aware. When you understand that something is wrong, then you are willing to cross that threshold to find out what it is. And most people are fearful. Most people are frightened of what they will discover when they go within. Because, at the end of the day, all the answers that we have are within us. And the
Amen.
world, yeah, and the world is designed for us to focus outwards. So everything that we have, everything that we see is to pull us away from us internally. And when you
Mm.
sort of get that self awareness and sort of that vibration of vibrating at your own internal level and sort of asking yourself those hard questions, you start to strip away from the external stuff because it has no power. It is nothing, it is irrelevant. You then focus inside. How am I feeling? What is the negative thoughts? Why am I having these negative thoughts? What can I do to remove them? And one thing that I say to a lot of people when I'm working through a process with them is there's three things that you need to know. I am home, I am safe, and I am enough. And you
Mm.
remember those three, you then can start to go on that journey.
I love that. I am whole, I am safe, and I am enough. Because, of course, that's a beautiful segue. And my next question was, what types of things can we say to ourselves? And obviously, we're going to need more practice on certain days than others because we're going to have, as you mentioned, these external distractions that help us forget that I'm whole, I'm safe, and I am enough. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, let me we can only think of one thing at a time. So we can either think that we're bad at something or we can think that we are good at something. So
Mm.
the problem that we have is that when we think we are bad or negative and we try and replace that with something that's positive, we find it very difficult because those negative thoughts are pounding within our head and we kind of go, oh, hang on, I need to get rid of this. I need to get rid of this. So there is a method which you can do and I can share with you if you wish to help you remove that as well.
Mm. So there's a method now. Does that differ or is that standard across the board with your clients or is it different for every person?
We are all individual.
Right.
However, there's some things that we can all understand of how we can have that shift. Like everybody
Mm.
can cycle a bike. Once you learn how to cycle a bike, you'll never forget. But it's the same process. We may teach other different of how to do it, but at the end result, cycling a bike is cycling a bike.
Hmm. But our journeys are different, yes?
Our journeys are, yes, our journeys are totally different because I'll give you an example. I was speaking to someone on the weekend and I was telling them that when I visualize things, I see them in pictures. And because I see them in pictures, I see, so what I'm looking at a project at home now for solar panels. So I see the solar panels on the roof and I see the inverter. But they were telling me they see the words. So they spell out the words. And I was fascinated by that because even that the stuff that I'm talking to you about, someone else will see or pick something up totally different from the message that I'm trying to deliver. But hopefully that message will be the same thing to help them on their journey.
Hmm. Yeah, we want the message to be the same, but everyone is going to have a different level of interpretation and how they feel about it, right? We haven't touched that yet about the words and the transfer to the feelings.
You know, I've had people over the years who have turned around to me and went, "Oh, the best advice I ever got, Joe, was from you." And they said it. And I go, "I don't remember saying that. I, I probably said something, but it
Right.
went into their mind. And then with that mind process, they came up with their own interpretation of it.
Hmm.
So, if you're having a negative thought, or you're having something that's really pulling you down and feeling that time of being, what's the word? Despair.
Mhm.
I've learned to believe that we have three bodies. We
Hmm.
have a physical body, we have a mental body, and we have an emotional body. And anyone that's in martial arts will know the physical body is memory muscle. And then our brain, which is attached to our within our head, helps our subconscious and pushes everything through, keeps us alive. And then we have our emotions. And sometimes that trigger of something of a negative feeling can come in, or an emotion or a thought to say you're not worthy.
Hmm.
Okay. And the best thing, what I say to people, take that emotion, put it up in a sphere or a bubble beside you, use my different hands, put it up in a bubble, and look at it and picture it coming away from your physical body. Picture it coming away from your mental body and detach it from your emotions and look at
Mm,
it there and speak to it and say, you are no longer part of me. You are no longer part of my body. You are only just a thought that is no longer here, but you are out on its own. And speak out loud to it, talk to it. Because when you do that, you're acknowledging it that it isn't part of you. And by doing that, then it starts to alchemize. And as it's alchemizing, start replacing with something better, you know,
mm.
something better, something more positive. And if you practice that long enough, it happens, it changes. How do I know this? I used to wake up in the morning, every morning, with fear, the
Hmm.
fear of the day, the fear of what was going on. It was anxiety years ago. And I talk about this in my TEDx talk as well. And, I used to have to jump into the shower, and I had a method then that I used to have to wash all the negative thoughts off myself. So I would jump in the shower and I'd wash myself, all the negative. And, if anyone listens to the like of Abraham Hicks or someone like
Mhm.
that, when I go, things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. Things are always working out for you. And I had to go through that. And when I stepped out of that shower, I felt like I was a new person ready to take the day. But that was just a journey, and things take time. And
Yeah,
then we use new language, and we use different self-talk. But if you're ready to do it, just keep working on it and working on it. It's like a muscle. It gets
it
better and
is.
better and better and better.
Yeah, that is such a great example. And thank you for sharing that. Because it is a muscle that we have to develop, like physically, right? We have to develop that physical part of our body, but you're talking about the mental and the emotional, and that takes work too. And it's just taking joy in that work that you are, right, worthy of that happiness. I love that journey so much. And that example about you in the shower, right? So after you've taken this shower of washing off all of these negative emotions, what's your favorite piece of clothing or accessory, and how does it make you feel?
My favorite piece of clothing, and there's something that I had to battle with years ago, believe it or not, because, there was an image that I had to show up in a certain way for the world that I wanted to. So I seen everyone in suits, and I had my suits and all. But what I really feel comfortable in is this, a sweatshirt. I feel comfortable in a sweatshirt. I feel comfortable just in my socks, and those small things in life and what I feel happy and comfortable with give me joy.
Well, I love that because, well, first of all, for those in the US, his definition of a sweatshirt, he's wearing a collared polo shirt.
A
So I
polo
just
shirt,
wanted to,
yeah.
for those who don't make it to the video portion, you're wearing a polo collared shirt, which I think is hilarious because I think it looks great. It's not really a sweatshirt, um, but you identified something so cool there. It's the small things that bring you joy. And I think if we were to pick out a few of these incredible gems and mic drop moments that you've offered today, it is the small things. And we can only take those small steps at, shifting our mindset, like becoming aware and then thinking of a way either, detach ourselves and talk to that person who we want to, push away, that negative emotion person, and then wash them away. Like, you've given us some incredible visual effects here that I think are truly outstanding. So one more thing, if we were to share one more gem with the audience, I know you have them. What else, what's one more thing that we could share?
Be brave, have courage, and be you. That's the one thing that I would say to people. And if people want to reach out to me, they can catch me on, joedalton.ie. And I'm happy to have a chat with anyone on LinkedIn as well.
Well, that is fantastic. What I'll do is I'll put those incredible links in the show notes to make it easy for people to reach you. And I thank you for your time today, Joe, and your wisdom. My day is better because of it. So thank you so much. I so appreciate you.
Francesca, it was beautiful talking to you. I know I did all the talking because, being on radio, sometimes I can't help it, but it's been beautiful. And thank you very much for the invitation to share some of my wisdom, knowledge, and experience with your audience. And I'm truly grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Stay well.